All right, so we're out doing our dog walk, doing a test today. It's going to be a little bouncy like this because getting some equipment in to do really good recording, also really good audio, which I think will be better than this. Anyway, I wanted to do it, sort of have a baseline here with a low quality setup. The camera's good. It's an iPhone, good iPhone camera, but there's no gimbal or whatever, yada yada yada. So it's not a good display. We're going to get a chance. Thumper. You see Thumper's road crossing. So Thumper. Okay, go. So he will wait for me until I tell him to go, which is good. Thumper, get out of the street, Thumper. Now he just made me look bad by walking in the street, which he never does, but he got a whiff of something. I also think he's going to have to poop here in a minute. Pick that up. I just have a feeling he's got to poop. You never know that. Yeah. He's a good dog. He likes to stay on the sidewalk. In fact, when I do cross the street, usually in these more residential areas where the streets are, there's nobody on the street. This is a road. I wouldn't cross the street in the middle. But in those, I will sometimes cross in the middle. And he wants to cross on a driveway. He won't. Like, he wants to stay on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? On the concrete. He won't cross over into the what do they call it? The parkway, which is this grass area between the sidewalk and the street. I think it's called parkway. I think it's called different things in different parts of the United States, but here in Los Angeles, I think I refer to it as the parkway. I should look that up and see if anybody knows. But it's funny because he'll go into the parkway and pee on trees and sniff. But if I go to cross the street, like if I were to cross right here, I won't, of course, but if I were, he would run up here, go through that driveway. He wouldn't follow me by crossing on the parkway. So he has an idea about staying on the sidewalks. And he's usually very good about stopping at intersections. He won't cross the street without every once in a while. He will. Not on the busy street. If I saw a dog on the other side of the street, I'd put him on the leash just to be safe. But he won't. He doesn't care about other dogs. He's not interested. Oh, so that's Thumper. And you hear me breathing a little heavy or whatever. I apologize, but I am doing this for exercise at this point. So I am, it's hard to see on the camera. I'm walking very fast. It doesn't look as fast on camera. Or I'm walking fast for me anyway. And trying to get my heart rate up. Which I guess it's a good thing. It's kind of hard for me to get my heart rate up as high as I'd like just by walking. You usually have to go somewhere with hills that strenuously walk up the hill. So try to get it up above 120. And even walking really fast. I usually fail to do that. However, I have had 2 cups of coffee just recently. So my standing heart rate's already like 10 or 15 higher than it would be. Not a big fitness guy or fitness guru or anything. Just the doctor told me, steady, getting the heart rate above 120 for a good steady 15 to 30 minutes is exercise. Whereas just walking the dog around with a low resting heart rate, stopping every 30 seconds, every minute so the dog can sniff, checking your phone, whatever. He's like, that's not exercise. That's just out walking. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Go do that all day long, but it's not exercise. And, Thump. Hold on, buddy. Okay, go. That's, makes sense. It's a lovely tree. Lots of, you can have all your complaints about Southern California. Some of them silly, some of them, legitimate, or certainly legitimate for some people, right? Everybody has their own taste. But one thing you cannot deny is that the landscape, even in a working class, middle class neighborhood, and certainly in sort of upper class or upper middle class neighborhoods, never mind any well-off neighborhoods. But what I'm trying to say is basically every neighborhood. The landscape is just astounding compared to anywhere else. People take pride in their yards. Almost everybody has a professional gardener, even if they, like these yards over here. Well, that house is doing some nice flowers. They both are. But see, they're not doing anything extravagant in this little yellow house over here. But just look at the yard. It's very well maintained. Flower beds are all perfect. Little flower bed at the edge. They have a gardener. I guarantee it. Come on, Thump. And, dude, I hope you didn't poop like this week. Talking to you guys. You like to pick up all the poops. Like to leave me poops. But, the landscaping is just fantastic. You see fantastic flowers and stuff like that. And even, I'm going to cross over here to sort of make myself into a liar, but also if that makes sense. Thump, let's do a diagonal cross, buddy. These people are working in the yard, so we're going to cross here diagonally. No cars. But he's good at the diagonal cross. So, you see this yard, situation in the yard. It's not green. They're not watering it. Probably conserving water. Totally fine by me. But they've got a little tree that's been started over here. You can see the birds of paradise and other things there by the house. These Italian cypress or whatever. And so even this, is fairly well maintained. And it's not a ratty yard at all. It's So, and then you just get to so many houses that have just, immaculate professional landscape. They have a gardener that comes every week, takes care of everything. Like we're going to pass right here. There was just out here for the public. They've got this nice bouquet of plants and flowers. It's really nice. Got these lovely. They're gorgeous tree and some nice brickwork around. Some very things in there. Yard. Probably the garden. It's next week. So we're just it's all good. Oh well, good. Lovely house over there. Needs a lick of paint. The house is quite pretty. Those white roses. Send them to Mick Jagger in the mail. What was that song? Send me dead roses in the U.S. mail. By the U.S. mail. You can send me dead roses, red roses, I forget. Thumper, come here. This is the mailman. Let's see if he's... Oh, we got a car. Hold on. Thump, hold on. East Cargo I. Fargo, my Fargo, West Fargo. Thumper go. There we go. Thumper bro. Alright. See, like this house, like escaping. No, it's an older house. They can go right here. Look at the landscape. You got a set of these photos. Just, you know, it's simple. But, one thing, it's just very typical. You just see that, like, even, you know, people aren't really interested in landscape. They're not trying to show off or anything. Just the base level is pretty high compared, I think, to other parts of the United States. You just don't see the same level everywhere. Certainly you do in some places. I'm just talking about like your base average. Anyway, don't argue with me. I'm always right. Alrighty. Let's see here. We're coming up to a very busy street called Fremont Avenue. I'm going to have to put Thumper on the leash. Oh, there's one of those little library boxes. There's leave a book, give a book kind of things. Those are all over these neighborhoods too. See a whole bunch of them. Now I'm not getting good exercise because I'm talking, not really fast. So I think I'm going to turn off the camera here. We're going to take a little pause. We'll come back when we get across Fremont Street up over towards the hills a little bit. But up ahead and put him on the leash because we're going to cross Fremont here where there's no light. So got to be quite controlled. 4-lane busy road. I think the speed limit's 35, but you have to go 70. Thump thump. We're going over to Fremont, all right? Let's go. Okay, so we're back on. Let me see my heart. Oh, my heart rate's at 120. That's good. We crossed Fremont Avenue. It's behind us. And I was going to wait and come back on the video in another like 10 minutes. But we're going by this chocolate Ford F-250 here. I've seen it a couple times around, actually. Or this is the second time. I really like this truck. That's a nice looking F-250. It's the right color. I like the color. I like the locking hubs. You know, that's a work truck. Not a crew cab. I hate crew cabs. Good for the dogs, but just the design, I don't like it. I guess it's early 90s based on the front. It's just that's a very nice, unpretentious. I don't think it's restored. I think it's just well taken care of. F-250. And you don't see a lot of those. Those are work trucks. You either see people that get them and like totally restore them and do something with them, or they're ragged out. And that one just looks really nice. You can clean up the headlights, I think. They're a little foggy. Or get them replaced, but you know, don't need to. Sorry while we do a bit of boggly there. Getting Thumper off his leash. Whew. And you can see we're walking uphill here a little bit. I think this is Midwick track or Midwick. I have to look it up. Again, I'm not prepared because this is a test video. This is an area in Alhambra, north of the 10 freeway and west of Fremont Avenue. So it is freeway-wise. If we think of, a friend of mine once pointed this out, and I thought it's a great way to think about things in Southern California. Think of the freeways, maybe major boulevards, as rivers, right? In the traditional sense. So this is located in the land between the 710 freeway and the 10 east of Cal State, LA. And you just think of like two rivers coming together. And there is a neighborhood in the, sort of corner, like where the two rivers come together. And that's what this is. There's a hill, and these houses go up the hill. It actually goes higher. At the top of the hill is a castle. You know, obviously an imitation castle. Nobody was building real castles out here because the natives didn't build castles, and by the time Europeans were out here in this area, really, I mean, I guess you could say in the 1600s, but really Alhambra was, I think, built up in the late 1800s, or started farmland. Nobody was building castles, obviously, and anyway, you didn't need to build castles for defense. You know, castles had a purpose originally. They were not for tourists, whatever, or even to show off, or not to show off in like that manner. And then later, a lot of European castles, I guess, later in castle life were, at least in part or completely, built to show off, like the famous one in Germany, Neuschwanstein. You know, that was not a militarily purposed castle at all. That was just a vanity project. But anyway, enough about that. There is a castle, so-called, just a nice house, or a big house, at the top of the hill. We're sort of walking around. The hill is over there to the right. And it is where Phil Spector lived for, 30 years. So Phil Spector was a famous music producer. He produced the Beatles. Which one did he produce? Was it Abbey Road? Whichever one has Let It Be on it. He produced that album. And he was famous for, he did a lot of Motown. He was famous, they called it, I think, the Wall of Sound, where he was able to, as a producer, create this wall of sound. Illustration. All over the place. And anyway, at some point, I think it was in the 80s, maybe it was the 90s, he bought this house up here on the hill, the castle, and moved into it, saying that he wanted to, move far away, get out of Hollywood, get out so far away from everybody that he couldn't get in trouble. You know, one of those, like, you gotta kind of go to rehab, you gotta lose all your party friends, right? And I always thought that was funny because Alhambra is truly by car. I mean, like this up here, up this way to the castle. We'll go up there in a second. Alhambra is like, I don't know, 15 minutes to downtown LA, like literally from your door. You know, if there's no traffic, if it's not a traffic time of day, you could literally like drive from right here, kind of go straight down through there. There's a freeway entrance. And you'd be in downtown once you get on the freeway, probably in 7 minutes. And then I guess if you're going over to Hollywood, you got to go through downtown, get on the Hollywood freeway. That's 20 minutes if there's no traffic. As the bird flies, it's like 10 miles from Hollywood, maybe 15. Anyway, the point, he made it sound like he was moving to Wyoming. And it's a little bit like saying, I had to get away from all my bad friends in New York, so I left Manhattan and moved to Brooklyn. It's like, I guess technically. Anyway, Thumper, what are you doing? Are you sniffing to poop? He already pooped. You guys didn't see it. I had pooped and picked it up. He does these all over the way. You don't see him. He'll sometimes kind of phantom poop. He'll like squat and do a poopy and then actually doesn't poop, or he just poops a little tiny. I mean, like you can't even pick it. Yeah, you can see there's like no poop in there. All right, so let's walk around. I'm going to walk around this other way. So the castle's up there, like literally straight up. It's past that car right there. But I'm going to go this way and around to get some exercise. Basically, I'm going to use the hill. You're going to hear me pant a lot. So anyway, Phil Spector buys that place, supposedly to, get away from all the temptations of Hollywood, which, he's like a wealthy guy and 30 minutes away from Hollywood. So I doubt he got away from any of those temptations. He could either call someone and have them bring them over to him, or he could easily go over to them. Thumper, come on. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's a little better. Anyway, he lived there, I think, I forget. It was the 80s or 90s, but for quite a while. And whenever it was, sometime in the 2000s, I forget exactly when. Again, sorry, I'll be more prepared on future walks. He was out, I think, in Alhambra, somewhere around here, and brought a waitress home with him from like Denny's or IHOP, I think even. It was something like that. Like they'd been out and like afterwards got something to eat. And they got into some sort of argument or altercation. And he shot and killed her in his home at like 3 a.m. or something. And the police came, and obviously, and he was arrested. He was tried and he was convicted. And I believe he's passed away now. He was in prison. And during that trial, he was out on bail. And he had a new wife. I don't know if he got her after the murder or if he was already. I think it was after. So yeah, because there were a lot of reports. I have no idea about this one, name, but you know, there were a lot of reports that she was supposedly like a gold digger. You know, had come in and taking advantage of him. Again, that's not me saying it, because I mean, I'm not afraid to say that. I just literally don't know. I have no idea. But those were, you know, things that were reported. I believe she started dating him and married him during the trial. But I believe he might have had an appeal too. I don't know the whole process. But the interesting point is your boy, me, I was in South Pasadena, which is the next city. The order from south to north is Monterey Park. Then across the 10 freeway is Alhambra. And then a little bit further north is South Pasadena. And then Pasadena. And all 4 of those are different municipalities. South Pasadena is not a neighborhood of Pasadena. It is its own city. But anyway, I was in South Pass, as they call it, Pass, South Pasadena. Saying Dina is too many syllables. It is for me. Whew, getting out of breath walking up this hill. It's also getting hot. I'm sweating. But anyway, I had parked at I think I'd gone into a Rite Aid or something, and there was a coffee shop like 3 blocks away. And instead of parking again, I was just walking up to the coffee shop, and walking down towards me was this small man with crazy frizzy hair, and this model looking lady who was significantly taller than him, and, you know, quite pretty and blonde. And so they caught my eye. I'm like, it's an interesting couple. This short little like 70-year-old guy with giant frizzed out hair. I mean, his hair was like in an afro, like more than a foot out from his head. And I looked at them, and he stared at me, and his eyes, he was out of his mind. I mean, I looked at him, I was like, this guy's crazy, right? I mean, you can just tell when somebody looks at you. And he was like looking at me intently, like he was studying me. He was worried about me in some way, right? He was either like, he looked like he was trying to identify me, like he knew me. Or maybe he was worried that I was a threat or something. But it was definitely that look. If you know that look where somebody's, you know, it's also the look somebody will give you, like, you know, they're sizing you up to rob you or something, but not being casual about it. Maybe, you know, going down on speed or something. Whew, Thumper, we got to go up this way. Although I hear a car, Thumper. So I like to go up this road for exercise, but the sidewalk ends and I hear a car. So maybe we'll wait for the car. So anyway, I definitely noticed him because they're a very odd couple. You know, this tall, I don't know, 30-year-old, pretty blonde, next to this short old man with a ridiculous afro, you know, and he's white. I mean, like, he was obviously like frizzed out. He looked like a hair metal band from the 80s. And there's a car coming the other way too. And so I stared at him as they walked past me, and I literally thought, like, this is like some nut job? Is this like a homeless guy? I mean, I would have thought that, except there's this like blonde with him, which is kind of weird. And and you know, she was well put together. He was all frazzled looking, but you know, she wasn't. And anyway, as I walked past, it dawned on me, oh my God, right? And that's who it was. Hey, Thumper, come here. So we'll go up and see his castle here in a minute. Maybe I'll, oh, I think I heard the car engine stop. All right, I'm going to stop the video for a second and wipe my face because my eye is got sweat in it. And then we'll go up and see the castle. Okay, we're back. So we're at that same corner. We're just going to walk up to the hill. This is park view. I guess it has a view of the park or something. There's no park. The guy stopped running his car. It's this guy. You might see him in the orange shirt, the greenhouse. I like the look of this house, actually. This house is cool to me. Right here you have a very nicely maintained yard. Ooh, feels good, actually. Got this little house over here with a little cute pink paint over the driveway. That's what the guy painted. Yeah, and you can see here's the view. I don't know if this comes through that one on the camera, but see over to these buildings over here that you see on the hill. That's Cal State LA. And I guess past that, going back into there is Loyal Heights, East Los Angeles. 710 freeway is basically where you see that white building. That's a huge dormitory. 710 is between that dormitory and these houses. It goes up this way. Anyway, here's enough geography. Let's down here. This wall is not looking in good shape. Looks like it wants to fall over. I don't know whose property that is. Let's take a look and get down here. See, I keep talking and stopping. I'm not getting reactions. But that's alright. This is fun. It's fun for me. Telling you about Phil Spector. Yeah, so it's that house there. It's the back of that house. You see, that's an old house. That big flat roof. It's cheap and it's done that way. And then later, probably, they put in a HVAC system. They just had to bolt it on top of the roof because there's no attic to put it into. But I bet when that house was built, it had an HVAC system. I don't know. But being Southern California, you can just pop that bad boy right there on the roof. You know, might get rained on a little bit. It's not going to freeze. Oh. All right, so we're coming back down to where we were when I was pointing earlier. This is also a very pretty house. It's been nicely restored. I think these people have money too. They always have nice cars offered. See, right now there's a Rivian. I think there are 2 Rivians. I think Rivians are pretty pricey, aren't they? But they're still like over $100,000 a pop. Okay, so here we sort of have a three-way intersection. We can go back up the way we came. All right, turn around. So we were right down there where that white truck is. Let's go across here from this phone. We were there where that little white delivery vehicle is. Down that intersection. When we come up and the road goes 1, 2, 3. This way is the way we just came. It just kind of loops it back around. This way here goes over the hill and crosses over to the other side of the hill, and you can go further north. And then this is not a through street. This road goes up to the castle. So we're going to go up to the castle first, then we're going to walk back down and go around. Thump, thump. If we can find Thumper. He disappeared. There he is. He's sniffing on those people's tree. I'm also thinking I'm going to get a video camera for Thumper. inner space with it. We'll see his adventures at the same time. I'm Blvd and Beth. Thump, come over here, buddy. I'm also getting sweat in my eye now. There is a nice breeze, but it's a little bit humid, even though it's only about 80 degrees. And also we are walking uphill. I don't know how much you can tell, but this is kind of a steep hill. It's not terrible, but it's a hill for sure. And Thumper's with us. There he is, right there. Thumper, I'm too tall. I didn't see you when you get right next to me. I don't see you below me. And see, these houses, like a lot of them have these cute little details. These people have put these little statues there. You know, that's cute. Just a nice little thing to... I think you might have seen a blip in the video there. I hit the button and stopped the camera. I restarted it right away. So no AI, it's not an AI edit. It's just an idiot edit. Alright, look at this house with that massive glass window looking out. You can see we're gonna get up here. I'll show you the view. There's actually, it's pretty high. I guess I could check my watch, see what the elevation is. We get pretty high up here. And get a pretty good view of the surrounding area. Yeah, here you go. You can see over to Monterey Park. That golden dome you might see glowing. That's a church. We'll go up there someday. I'll show you around the church. It's pretty nice. It's, I think St. John's Church, who is, I believe, the first Christian saint. The first to be sanctified. I'll have to look it up when we go over there. It's pretty cool over there. And the church is very nice. Because we are at the castle. That's it. It's got a bunch of warning signs on it telling you that it's private property. Also, we're so high up, there's a water tank up here. It's the highest part of Alhambra. You pump all the water up here into the tank, and then gravity feeds it down to all the residents. You don't need a water tower when you're this high up. And also, not being a tower, it can hold a lot more water. You know, you need a tower in a flat town because you gotta get the water up above everyone for the gravity. Whew. You can kind of see a little bit of the castle in there. Right, oops, there we go. But I'm not gonna try to like pry or anything. Just show you from the outside. But that's it in there. And you can see they have, you know, not an entrance, 24-hour cameras, whatever. We're gonna walk by the entrance part. I'll show you where they're, like when they have parties and events, people come in. And then this is the, I assume this is the pump house. Whether it's in service or not, because it's a little building next to the water tower. And then you can see the water tower, or not water tower, water tank back here. And you can tell by looking at the building with the stucco, the brick. I mean, I don't know when this was built, but it's definitely old. I don't know if the water tank is open. I would assume it's closed. Maybe you can look on Google Earth and see. But yeah, and this person here who lives in this house, they've got a great view over to Monterey Park and out to east, and also of the Monterey Park Hills. So really nice over there. Oh, this thing, oh, I see they put a bolt block because there's a lock here. It's got an Edison sticker. All right, so there you go. City of Alhambra, gateway to the San Gabriel Valley. Alhambra is sort of the first city as you come into the San Gabriel Valley. San Gabriel Valley is east of downtown LA, so if you come out of downtown LA, you go through literally what's called East LA. And then, geez, if you're on the 10, I think it's all just East LA and County until you get to Alhambra. I think Alhambra is the first incorporated city. I think so, from the 10. Anyway, now we're gonna walk down. Should be a nice, easy walk down. What's our heart rate at? 103. Oh my God. See, I'm not getting any exercise on here. But Thumper's having a good time. Thumper, we're gonna get you a doggy cam. I gotta look into how we can get something lightweight on your back. Like I said, I am getting the spike collar. Thumper, come over here. Don't go to the people's place. So we came back down, we're back, there's that work truck. And now we're gonna take the road around the castle. Because this road actually doesn't dead end, connects to the other side of the hill. Let's make sure we got Thumper. Thumper, you got you? All right, let's spin around. I hope I'm not making you car sick with that. We will go up this way. This is a nice little walk. Probably boring to watch. Maybe I'll zoom through this. All right, I guess, okay, let's slow down here for a second. You might be able to tell we're a little lower elevation because where we were on the road behind these houses, which is higher up. You can see it obviously goes up the hill. In fact, that house I'm pointing at is that house with all the no trespassing signs. And I paused it here. Like I said, it's kind of a boring video to walk. It's a nice walk. It's just a little bit boring video because nobody's ever on this road. I never encounter any cars. And it winds through here like a little, I don't know, country road in Italy, actually. Reminds me of that quite a lot. I guess because it's narrow, has a sidewalk on one side. I guess that's more of a California thing, honestly. But it just has that vibe. And this house right here, which is very nice. Huge house. Unfortunately, some of the houses below us, their backyard comes up to here because we're on the hill. And, you know, some of them, the privacy fencing is not that, first of all, it blocks our view, but also it's kind of ugly. And then down through here, the bushes are pretty poorly maintained. But Thumper's having a good time. Where are you, Thumper? Here, maybe we'll speed up a little more. All right, we're up here at the top. We got somebody parking at this house, so we're gonna cross over. Come here, Thump. We'll walk in the shade. Anyway, that's okay. There's no sidewalk in this part. Thumper, over here. So this way we're facing oncoming traffic. And should there be any, which there won't, almost certainly. If I had to bet you money, I'm not gonna turn around and look. I would bet that car's delivering food. And Over here, we can see something interesting about Alhambra. This really rectangle office building. See that? Just laying out there. Kind of crazy. This big aqua glass cube plopped down right in the middle. It's a county building. I don't know if it originally was built. I think it was originally built for the county. Sometimes county, you know, something is either in the process of being built for commercial purpose and goes bankrupt, and or at some point gets taken over by the county when they turn it into county offices. But I believe in that case it was purpose built. I think it was commissioned by the county in the 80s or 90s. Again, not prepared. And it is very big. It is very much of that time period. It is a giant, I have to say it's ugly, a giant ugly square. I mean, it is. It doesn't have any design to it. It's just a big glass cube. And it's plopped down in the middle of a huge square parking lot, you know. So, totally not pedestrian land use at all. Totally car grade use. A giant air-conditioned cube that you drive to and then park in a giant parking lot and walk into work from 9 to 5, doing whatever county paperwork you have to do, and then go get in your car and go home. So, of an era. I don't think they would build it now. I hope they wouldn't. Hopefully at some point it'll get torn down and the area redeveloped. I would consider it an eyesore. I think it's rather ugly. I'm all for modern buildings and new stuff, but a giant ugly office building like that right in the middle of Alhambra is kind of unnecessary. I mean, I don't know what work they do in it, but I don't know. And it just doesn't fit in with anything. Now, if they were to build a bunch of housing, I'd be into that. We do have a homeless crisis. I think we need to build a lot of housing. They want to build a giant house that we're converted into housing. Although, surprisingly, office buildings, or maybe it's not surprising to you, but converting office buildings to housing is actually rather difficult. And many times it's better just to tear it down. Come on, Thump. Sorry for these head-jerking turns. Thumper, let's cross the street. On these residential streets, I like to cross sort of in the middle of the street. I was telling you that earlier about how Thumper likes to use the driveway. And I got that from, I forget the name of the book. There was a lady that wrote a book. Secret Life of Dogs, that's the name of the book. I forget her name. And short summary is she gets a dog somehow. She adopts a stray, or somehow she ends up with this large dog, a German Shepherd or Husky type dog, anyway, a big dog. And he would sneak out at night and go roaming around. And she decided to covertly follow him and see what he did, and sort of study the quote-unquote secret life of dogs, right? What they do, how they behave when people are around. And it's a very interesting book, because it's absolutely true. Obviously, dogs behave differently when people are around. Because they're listening to people. Dog right here. I'm going to stop the video for a second. I'll come back to you. All right, so we walked around the house there. Oh, I'm getting all kinds of salt in my eye because my sweat is dripping into my eye. But anyway, one of the things she observed following her dog at night, you know, again, the dog not knowing that she's there, is that he would cross the street. He wouldn't cross at intersections. He would walk down the middle of the street, not the sidewalk, and he would cross in between intersections. And when he was with her, when she walked him, even off the leash, there's Thumper, he would, you know, follow her on the sidewalk like Thumper does, and he would cross at intersections. And anyway, her theory about that, there's another Chevy Blazer. See, they're getting popular. It's a nice car. That's an Equinox, but still. Or maybe it was a Blazer. Maybe I misread it. Anywho, her theory was it actually made more sense because the intersection if you're, as a human, we know that there's a stop sign, stop light, crosswalk, whatever. These safety features. But as a dog, you don't instinctively know that. And the intersection's actually more dangerous because, there's more going on. There's an intersection. In the middle of a street, you can look up and down the street. You can see there's no cars coming. There's no other way for cars to come, right? There's no intersecting road. So the middle of the street is actually the safest place to cross. And then also for listening, right? If you're walking down the middle of the street, all of that, you have a better perspective of what's going on. So it's kind of an interesting, who knows if that's why, but interesting idea. Because if you think about, if you had no concept of the rules of the road, you didn't know what drivers are worried about, you didn't understand how intersections work, stop signs, any of that, it probably would feel safer to, you didn't know, cars could drive on the sidewalk if they wanted to, why not, right? You don't know that that's forbidden. It probably feels safer to walk down the middle of that big path instead of walking down the sides of it, and also to cross like in the middle and not at intersections. So anyway, it's an interesting book that sort of analyzes how dogs behave differently when there's not a person around. Let's see how Thumper's doing. There's a kid coming down the road. Come on, Thump. So we're headed back up to Fremont again. We've come full circle. Probably going to end this here pretty soon. And the rest of it will be a pretty dull walk back the way we came, although we'll be on a different street. We'll be generally going the same way. Thumper, what you doing? You going to piddle? But we're going to go up here and cross Fremont again. Now this time, we're a lot closer. There's Thumper making friends. Hello. Oh, watch out, honey. I don't want him to snip at you. He sometimes gets upset. I think he'll be okay. Thumper, Thumper, come on. All right. Bye, guys. I was just a little worried that little girl grabbed him from the rear, and that could scare him, and he might spin around and snap at her. So yeah, we're here. You can see there's Fremont Avenue. You can see all the cars crossing. So we're going to cross that again. But the good thing is there's a stoplight, actually. You just can't see right over next to that house. So when that turns, all the cars stop. It would be easy to cross. Maybe I'll come back and do one little bit of video, and then we'll call this one quits. Okay, so I was going to wait a little bit until we were further along. We just crossed Fremont. That's it right there. You can see the backed up cars. So they get backed up at the stoplight, and it's very easy to cross. But anyway, I forgot about this. It's a very nice old fire station here, and they're actually working on the roofs. You can see Superior Roofing System putting in terracotta roofing. I'm going to cross over. Alhambra has a number of these. There's a probably some right way here. Alhambra has a number of these brick old fire stations. I don't know. I know of two. I know this one and another one. I think there's more than two though. And I think they had to be restored. There was a big earthquake at some point in like the 50s or 60s that damaged them because they're old. They're built, from brick. Brick is actually not good for earthquakes. And they weren't built to standard. I think they were built quite some time ago. I'm looking to see if there's a plaque or something that says when it was built. Let's see here. We got a plaque. Let's go see what it says. City of Alhambra Fire Station 74, dedicated 1993 to replace the original station built in 1931 that was damaged in the October 1, 1987 earthquake. So there you go. All the information I didn't know on one plaque. So I guess this has been rebuilt. Maybe they tore the previous one down completely or something. Because it does look, I don't think in the old days they would have had this big of a gate in 1931 for the fire trucks. Maybe they would have. So yeah, but in the 1930s there was a big earthquake in 87 in the Alhambra area that damaged a lot of buildings. And so there you go. Although it looks like there's traces of brick. I don't know. I'd be interested to find out what the story is. But very nice. I know there's another one near downtown Alhambra. So I've seen it before. No, is it downtown? Yeah, I forget where it is. I have to go walk dogs when I'm all day. which also is the same situation. I think that one was restored. Maybe it was partially rebuilt. I know of two brick firehouses that were out of commission after the earthquake. I don't know that they fell down or anything. I think it's just one of their construction. So, brick doesn't move its way well in an earthquake. If it wasn't reinforced or braced or anything else like that. And you can imagine at least the truck garage is going to be, the walls are going to be fairly tall and high. The taller they are, the bigger they fall. Right? You can't have your firemen in an unstable brick building, especially your firemen, because if there is an earthquake, you're going to need them, and can't have the firehouse collapsing in all around them. And they can't get the trucks out and or are injured themselves. That's a good point. My sister lives in Tennessee. There was a big flood there and had to evacuate this one hospital from the roof because it flooded. The hospital was built between two rivers, literally, like right where the two rivers joined. It was built in that area. It's like, I don't know, like it's not where you build an emergency services building, like, Oh, jump off the leash. Hold on, it's going to be a little bumpy on the video. Thump, wrong way. You know what I mean? If you're going to build a police station, a fire station, a hospital, something like that, you can't build it in an area maybe impacted by a natural disaster. Obviously sometimes it's unpreventable, but like this was just built where it was because the land was available. It was right next to a freeway, but that is not, you build a Walmart there. If the Walmart floods, well, we'll move on with our lives. But you can't have the hospital flooding and put the hospital out of commission. Not only do they have to transfer all those patients during the flood, but also people were injured in the flooding. And now one hospital wasn't available. Not only that, all the patients in it had to go to other hospitals to fill them up. So very, very stupid. I don't know how they ever got it approved to build a hospital. And it literally is a flood zone, like it's marked flood area. So, can't imagine. Maybe that's a Tennessee problem. So I think we're going to wind this up. Thumper, you pretty tired, buddy? How far do we go? Let's see here. Check. Trying to check the time. 3.5 miles so far, Thumper. So we're going to be over 4 miles. 4.5 by the time we get back to the time. So pretty good walk for the day, Thump. Didn't really get any exercise when we got up to 120 a couple times, and that was partially coffee induced, I think, because I talked too much. Should have walked faster. That's the other thing too. I think when I get this new camera setup, I'll be able to walk faster when talking. Because right now I'm literally holding the iPhone. It makes it hard to walk fast. But this should all be a hands-free set. So I should be able to truck along. And we'll see how it goes. But we've got to walk a few more suburban
blocks. Maybe go around the corner. Maybe you want to go to McDonald's, Thumper? Ruin Thumper's healthy walk by getting a chicken nugget. It's too bad you can't buy one chicken nugget. You know, see, I got a couple dogs. You can buy like 3 nuggets. I don't want to buy 10. And first of all, I don't eat meat myself, so I'm not eating any of them. They are tasty, I'll admit it. Right? I can definitely understand why somebody would want to eat. No shame if you do. Enjoy them all day long. But I don't eat it. And, I'll buy them for dogs. I really don't think you should give a small dog more than 1 chicken nugget at a time. And, maybe not more than like maybe once a month, once in a blue moon. So, I don't want to get 10 of them. I'm going to get 10 of them. Spend money on 10 of them. McDonald's isn't cheap anymore. There was a time, okay, give me some chicken nuggets. It's not a lot of money. Good Lord. Go over there and get a 10 nugget meal with fries and a Coke. I'll eat some fries. I'll drink the Coke. I'm going to hand him a $20 bill. I'm going to get back like a small amount of change. It's going to feel like I spent $20. It's crazy. I'm not loving it. Thumper, enough McDonald's jokes. Say bye to the people, Thumper. Thumper. All right. Bye, everybody.